season signing by the Atlanta Falcons. Gabriel, that little wide receiver, number 18, Gabriel, always seems to be open. And their running backs, the running back combination for the Falcons of Tevin Coleman and what's the other running back name for the Falcons? He slips my mind right now, but he's a old Florida State running back. He gets open in the passing game. Tevin Coleman gets open in the passing game. And, they make plays for the Atlanta Falcons. And, Falcons, they have a lot of firepower on offense. And, it showed today versus the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Freeman. I'm sorry, man. I apologize that I can't remember your name. Because you were a hell of a back at Florida State, before Mr. Dalvin, took over for you, Dalvin Cook. He'll be a top back, in this upcoming draft, but I digress. Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, they're two running backs for the Falcons. Mohamed Sanu, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan at the helm. Their offense was clicking. They beat the brakes off the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, your season is over. Enjoy Olivia Munn. Make some more, State Farm commercials. Or, maybe you should have got, Allstate. You could have been in good hands, with Allstate. But I digress. Again, Atlanta 44, Green Bay 21. Atlanta will go to the Super Bowl. Atlanta Falcons. You're in your first Super Bowl. How does it feel? How does it feel, Dirty Birds? But I digress. And, their opponent in that Super Bowl is going to be the New England Patriots. They were a 36-17 winner over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And how could you be surprised? Billy Badass Belichick and Tom Terrific Brady. That combination, man, it's a dynasty. Brady, 384 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. And the Patriots seem to exploit mismatches every game. And the mismatch in this game was wide receiver Chris Hogan, 180 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. I know. Who the hell is Chris Hogan? The Patriots just seem to find wide receivers anywhere. They go to the YMCA. They'll go to the Salvation Army and find a wide receiver and make him into a star. So Chris Hogan came up huge for the New England Patriots. And Tom Brady, he's awesome as always. Seems to age like fine wine. Tom Brady says he wants to play until he's 45 years old. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots have decisions to make, especially if they win the Super Bowl, because Tom Brady, he played great today, man. And the Pats defense, capitalized on Pittsburgh's mistakes. They caused turnovers. Big Ben and the offense squandered opportunities, kicking field goals when they needed to score touchdowns. And, that came to bite them in their rear end. Now, you can kick field goals against the Kansas City Chiefs because, no disrespect to Alex Smith, but Alex Smith is the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not going to blow out anybody. But you can kick field goals against the Kansas City Chiefs. But you can't kick field goals against the New England Patriots. And the Pittsburgh Steelers paid for it. Sorry to all the Steelers fans. Mo Breezy, my homegirl Sarah Hills. She listens to the podcast faithfully. I'm sorry, Sarah. I know you love the Steelers, but they got to score touchdowns. They can't kick field goals. But I digress, man. Antonio Brown, that big controversy after the divisional round win over the Chiefs, where Antonio Brown filmed head coach Mike Tomlin in the locker room, put it on Facebook Live. Mike Tomlin had a lot to say about it. Big Ben had a lot to say about it. Big Ben, you didn't have a good game. You needed to worry about yourself and your preparation for this game. You didn't play good at all. Antonio Brown, he had 7 catches for 77 yards, but he wasn't the impact player that he usually is. The Steelers had a good run, man. They won 9 games in a row coming into that game, much like the Packers were on an 8-game winning streak coming into their NFC Championship game versus the Falcons. But again, Billy Badass, Tom Terrific, the Patriots, they get it done. They're going to their 9th Super Bowl, man. That's crazy, man. The Patriots, whether you like it or not, the Patriots are a dynasty. And, Tom Terrific and Billy Badass, they've done it again. They're going to be a heavy favorite going into the Super Bowl. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to lead toward the Patriots or the Falcons now. I'm going to talk about this on the next week edition of the All Things Sport podcast. But Super Bowl LA is set. It's lit. One more letter and Super Bowl will be lit, but it's Super Bowl LI. The Falcons, the Dirty Birds, and the Patriots, Billy Badass, Tom Terrific. Should be a great Super Bowl. Can't wait, like Bart Scott said. I look forward to the Super Bowl. It's an event, man. Who's performing at the halftime show of the Super Bowl? I don't know who's performing because I usually don't watch the halftime of the Super Bowl. It's usually a time for me to use the bathroom, because I've consumed several adult beverages by halftime of the Super Bowl. But we'll be talking about the Super Bowl halftime show and more about the matchup on next week's edition of the All Things Sport podcast, man. But we are rocking and we are rolling on ATS, man. But I'm going to take another sip of this Harris Teeter natural spring water, bottled at a protected spring in Roaring Gap, North Carolina. You can go to the bathroom, get you a snack, whatever the case may be. We're going to take this commercial. Be right back on the All Things Sport podcast on Spreaker Radio. Damian Banks here for Austin Davenport Construction. If you're a new homeowner, old homeowner, or whatever the case may be, if you need work done on your home, look no further than Austin Davenport Construction. Austin Davenport Construction offers services such as building and repairing foundations, brickwork, home repair, waterproofing. Whatever you need, chances are Austin Davenport Construction can hook you up. If you need backsplash in the kitchen, they got you. If you want to get the roof work done, they got you. If you want new tile in the kitchen, they got you. New tile in the bathroom, I'm pretty sure they can hook you up. So if you want to get your new home worked on, you want to get your old home worked on, whatever you need, Austin Davenport Construction has your back. To contact Austin Davenport Construction, call 919-697-6912 or 919-450-7517. Also, email austindavenport@gmail.com or go to the website austindavenport.com. Austin Davenport Construction. Get your home done right. Welcome back to the All Things Sport podcast. I am your host, Damian Banks. And on this segment, I have a special guest. He's not a stranger to the show. He is on hiatus right now. The other half of the All Things Sport podcast, currently one half of the voice of Appalachian State Mountaineer football on the IMG network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Pierre Banks to the All Things Sport podcast.
Yes. We back at it, man.
Pierre, it's good to hear from you, brother. I just saw you a couple hours ago because, you were at home in beautiful Durham, North Carolina, man. We went by our Pop's house, man. There was a lot of the brothers over there. That was a beautiful thing, man. But it's always great to get you on the podcast, man. What's happening?
Absolutely. But you know what? I think me taking this hiatus has been one of the best things that happened to the All Things Sport podcast. The quality of the show has grown exponentially since I took an absence, man. I want to commend you on that, brother.
Thank you. So basically you're saying I'm better off without you. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Well, I didn't expect for you to take it and run with it the way you are. I say, man, we need you back on the show. We miss your banter and all that kind of stuff. But
Well, listen, Pierre, of course I would love to have you on the show, man, but you went off to bigger and better things, man. If we can get into just, this is not even an interview, man. We just kicking it. This is just two brothers kicking it, man. But, it's been a while since you've been on the show. So just give the listeners a background on your college experience, your playing experience, and what you've been doing since you left the podcast.
Well, as most of the listeners know, I spent my collegiate years at Appalachian State University. Was fortunate enough to be a part of some pretty special teams back from 2005 all the way into 2008. A part of 3 national championship teams, 4 Southern Conference teams. Had some individual accolades along the way, but really, it was just a product of good coaching. Surrounded with great talent on both sides of the ball that really allowed us to have a great time. And boom, man. And, to get back to the topic at hand, though, I feel like the Russell Westbrook of the All Things Sport podcast. All I do is put up numbers But the respect level that I'm getting right now is just, I'm not really feeling it, man. I feel like Russ right now.
Well, Pierre, I mean, if you feel like Russ right now, you're at the same place that Russell Westbrook is. You at the house, and Russell Westbrook is at the house because Seattle season is over. O-V-E-R, over. So yeah, man, you can feel like Russ.
Westbrook, man, not Russell Wilson.
Russell Westbrook. Yeah. Russell Wilson, he's at the house. But yeah, Russell Westbrook, I talked about that a little bit earlier on the podcast on my Hot Topic segment, man. I talked about how Russ, was snubbed from the All-Star starters. Steph Curry was voted in by the fans. I know you're a super duper duper Russell Westbrook fan. I know that hurt you to your heart, man. I used to give Russell Westbrook a hard time, but this season he is definitely on a historic run, averaging a triple-double, 30, 10, and 10. How can you leave Russell Westbrook off the starting five of the NBA All-Star? That's what happens when you let stupid fans have a say-so in the starters. And I say stupid fans lovingly. I say it lovingly.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far as to say stupid fans, man. But and you gotta tip your hat to the golden boy of the NBA right now, man, to Mr. Steph Curry. He continues to go out and dazzle in a year where everyone's saying that he's not playing as well as he usually does, and he's not putting up the numbers that he usually does. All he's doing is going out and averaging over 27 points a game. So, I mean, you gotta tip your hat to Mr. Curry and Russell Westbrook. He'll get his due. He'll get his due.
Yeah, man. I have to correct you there. Steph Curry does not average 27 points per game. Averages about 23. Secondly, Steph Curry is not the best player on his team anymore. His name is Kevin Durant. Steph Curry is he's a great player, he's a fantastic player, but he's not the best player on his team currently. And thirdly, Russell Westbrook is averaging 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. First player to average a triple-double potentially on a season since Oscar Robertson. There is no excuse for Russell Westbrook to not be a starter. But let's digress, man. We veered off, man. I got you on the podcast. Luckily, you're such a busy guy. Got you on the podcast for this episode, man, to talk about your experience and the reason why, you took a hiatus from the podcast, man. You just finished up your first season as one half of the voice of Appalachian State Mountaineers football on the IMG network. I listened to every broadcast, man, and bruh, you did your thing. You brought style and grace to the Appalachian State broadcast every week, man. I pretty much say you're the Barack Obama of college football broadcasting. Tell the listeners a little bit about how that came about and your experience this season, being in your first season doing the Appalachian State football team broadcast on the IMG network.
Well, as is the case with many things in life, it was just a matter of hard work meeting opportunity. We've come a long way, you and I. We started out setting up my iPhone 5, it was at the time, and recording, just our humble opinion. And putting that on YouTube, and then we, progressed a little bit, got a little more equipment, and then started doing the podcast and had some things going there, and generated a little buzz. And the Mountaineers were looking for an analyst for the IMG Sports Network, and I was up on the mountain, just so happened, to go to a retirement ceremony for my academic advisor, and wish her well. And, got to talking with some folks up there and asked me was I interested. They had heard a little bit of the podcast and saw the YouTube channel, and, it's basically like a dream come true, being able to step into that role. And I wanted to make the best of it, because a lot of folks who go into this field know a lot about the game. And if you play ball, if you understand the nuances of the game, that's one thing. But what I want to do is I want to be as entertaining as possible in this role, because to me, that's what sports are. It's just entertainment. So, I throw